thought a really interesting topic that I know is near and dear to both our hearts because we discussed this a lot over the last 2 or 3 years, actually probably a lot longer than that now,
It's been
5,
a
6,
while.
7 years,
Yeah.
is mental health overall.
Yep.
So I think it's, and one of the reasons I know both of us want to keep talking about it and talking about publicly is we need to normalize the conversation about mental health so people feel more comfortable be able to talk about it. So in the IT industry, there's always this major conversation about imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
And I know we've had a lot of conversations
yeah.
about this. So I thought this might be a good
Many.
one to pick your brain on what your thoughts are on this, Michael.
Absolutely. So imposter syndrome is something that's like, if you don't know what it is, I've best heard it described as it's the fear of being discovered or found out to be a fraud. You know, where you are successful in the industry, you do know something, but you're always kind of worried that someone's gonna stand up in a crowd and point at you and be like, no, that person, they're faking it. You know, and it's this weird intangible fear, but that's kind of what it's defined as, just the fear of being found out to be a fraud.
Right.
And people might be surprised to learn, like, I've had imposter syndrome for years.
I have too.
Years and years and years. And you know, I'm not going to rattle off, accomplishments or anything like that, but you know,
it doesn't matter though, right? The way you feel is the way you feel. And I think also, like, great example is when I joined Veeam.
Yep.
I've been in the industry now 28 years, but coming to Veeam, I didn't know a lot about data protection.
Yep.
I come at everything from security.
Yep.
So because of imposter syndrome, I put a lot of pressure on myself to learn as quick as possible, which was not healthy. It wasn't a healthy way to go at. If I could tell myself, Derran, 1 year ago to chill out, that would probably be the best way to go. But it is what it is. So
yeah. So I'll tell you a funny story about imposter syndrome. I've told this one a few times. I'll tell it again because it's one of the biggest kind of like aha moments I've had with dealing with imposter syndrome. So another friend of mine in cybersecurity, he's, in my opinion, very well accomplished.
Okay.
He's very technical. He's focused on the pen test and exploit side of cybersecurity. Yeah. He talks about stuff that, like, I don't know what he's talking about. Right. When he talks, like, I pay attention and listen because it's an opportunity for me to learn. But the point is, he's one of the reasons I have imposter syndrome. Right? Is I look at this guy and I'm just like, dude, you are incredible. Like I feel like a fraud compared to him. And we were talking once, and I told him that. I said, dude, like, you're the reason I have imposter syndrome, eh? And he responded back to me. He laughed and he said, actually, Michael, he goes, you're the reason I have imposter syndrome. And I was like, what are you talking about, me? Like, and I asked him, like, what am I doing that makes you feel that way? And this is what he said. He goes, you lead like entire teams of people. He goes, I could never do that. He goes, you're a fantastic public speaker. He goes, I could never get on a stage and talk. He goes, you have a lot of confidence and you don't mind talking about, personal stuff. And I just kind of looked at him and was like, that's incredible. Like to learn that two people both had imposter syndrome, but it was because of the other person that was talking to. And that just completely changed my perspective. It was like, wait a minute. Like, other people, I'm the reason other people have it, and they're the reason I have it. Why don't we start talking about this more and just kind of laugh it off?
100%. We need to normalize it. And I think key thing you said, compared to, is that if we're always comparing ourselves to the next person, I'm comparing myself to you, and look what Michael has done. I'm not, again, and we talk about this, don't be egotistical, but I think we forget what we've done and what it's taken for us to get to this spot. So I think it's really important to make sure we understand that we got to stop comparing ourselves to others. Everybody has a unique skill set and a journey of how they've gotten there. And the fact that you're there means you have done the right things. You have been successful. And I think we got to stop comparing each other as almost like bringing ourselves down. But to your point, we keep conversing and talking about the stuff to bring ourselves together.
Exactly. Right. It's stop comparing each other and start collaborating with each other, start working with each other. Right. So you have a specific set of skills. You are wanted, and people want to be around you. Right. 100%. And once you recognize and realize that, it allows, it helps with getting over that feel of being a fraud. Right. If you wake up every morning, you do the best that you're willing to do, you have a positive attitude, you're willing to learn. Right. no one can call you out for being a fraud because you're doing what it is that you're doing.
So all great points, and I guess I want to finish with a question here.
Sure.
How long have you been in the IT industry?
About 15 years.
Okay, so 15 years, and you sometimes feel as though you're a fraud.
Oh yeah.
28 years in industry, and I feel sometimes that I'm a fraud.
Yeah.
So what I'm getting at is, don't feel that way. If we can feel like that, and we do, it's human nature. You're there for a reason. You've succeeded. You've got to this point. Your journey may be different, but you're exactly where you should be.
Yeah.